Hey guys, welcome back. I'm excited to have Angel Gonzalez here in studio. Angel, what's up?
What's up, man? Glad to be here. Appreciate you inviting me to the podcast.
Yeah, dude. You've been crushing it. Walk me through kind of your story for these agents because it wasn't instant success working digital mortgage leads, right? I remember we had a couple conversations,
Multiple conversations.
multiple conversations, right? In the early first couple weeks of them, right? So kind of walk me through like your start with, working the Strong Point digital leads.
Yeah, 100%. So when I first heard about Strong Point, I was super excited to hear that there's going to be digital mortgage leads out there.
Yeah.
I've been in the business for quite a while to see that, we have to drop mailers, wait for those to come in. So having the instant mortgage leads come in right away was like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So when I heard about Strong Point and a lot of agents were killing it, especially you were killing it at the time. I was like, hey, why not me?
Yeah.
So when I first started, it was a bit of a struggle. It really was something that I had to adjust, whether it be like skill set, reaching out to people, and also just like not put myself in an island.
Yeah.
But for me, it did take about it took me about 3 batches for me to like be comfortable on, sitting with a good amount of people from the leads and also having good sits and also, writing a few policies and putting them in place. I did have some issues. You helped me out a lot, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
One thing that I like that you said was don't give up on a lead so easily.
Yeah.
At least give it about a month. So that's something that really stuck in my head to, keep going, keep working hard and just believe in the lead for about a month. And I did, and now we're here.
Love it, dude. Yeah. I just think with any lead, you got to give it 3 to 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, 100%.
If you're a new agent, you're starting to work these, like, give yourself a little bit of grace. But during that point, like, figure out what are you doing wrong, right? So I think that's the biggest thing with agents is they got a process that they think works, but they're not trying to, like, fine-tune it.
Exactly.
So the thing that you knew, right, is people having success, right? So you're not the only one doing this, and it's like, hey, these leads don't work. It was your mindset started to shift on, like, everyone else is having success. What do I have to do differently?
Exactly.
And I think that's when you really started to like gain some traction and getting those wins, right? Those wins help.
For sure.
Having a win, even if it's only a couple times a week, right? But then you start to figure out your process and now you're humming. I mean, like, how many of your sales throughout the week now do you think are from the Strong Point leads?
I would say because I'm still doing second chance, so I diversify it. So I buy a good amount for Strong Point and also do second chance and just like, typically I usually just put those in the AI system. So I'm focusing more on my Strong Point, me personally calling them and scheduling appointments.
Yeah.
I would say about, 80% of my sales every week is strictly from Strong Point.
That's awesome. Let's talk through your process. We were talking beforehand, like kind of like walk me through like what is your process with working the leads now? Because yours is a little bit different. A lot of people do like one call closes.
Yeah.
You kind of seem to crack the code with booking appointments. What has that kind of been looking like?
Yeah, for sure. So for me, man, I would hear a lot of people just kill it doing, one call closes, and it is a good way to do it. But I've always been that kind of agent that just likes to book appointments.
Sure.
So it was difficult in the beginning, It was difficult to have them actually show up to the appointment.
Yeah.
So there was times where I actually thought about like, hey, maybe I should just do one call closes. But for me, it was a bit of a struggle doing one-leggers. Sometimes the spouse wasn't there. They told me, yeah, let's go ahead and go over the process. I'm the one that takes care of all the decisions in regards to the insurance. And I go through the process, and at the end they tell me, hey, I need to think about it or talk to my wife because she's not home.
Yeah.
So that really frustrated me, and I was like, I need to do something different here. My style, again, is just appointments. Other people's style is one call closes, like Marco Solis. He's killing it. Malik, he's killing it. And they do mostly one call closes, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if it works for them, that's great. I tried it, but what worked for me was setting those appointments, and it was working for me, and I kind of didn't want to, like, mess around with what's working.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
100%. So how do you get, like, because again, a hard part for agents is to get people to show up. How are you getting them to show up? Like, what does that look like?
100%. So first of all, when they come in, there is like a 5-minute window, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Whenever they come in, send them a text. basically saying, hey, this is Angel Gonzalez from the Mortgage Protection Office, something like that. And basically give them the options to what is available on my calendar for them to schedule an appointment. Typically, within that 5 to 10 minutes when the lead comes in, they answer and they say, hey, tomorrow at 9 o'clock, tomorrow at 10 o'clock. So most of my appointments, believe it or not, is through text with Strong Point. But even when I call them, I still make sure I tie it down because a lot of people still don't answer their text messages.
Yeah.
So I send out the text, wait for a response, send them out early. So during the day, if they don't answer, I start calling them.
Gotcha.
So for me, that works out a lot to where I'm keeping myself busy and not just relying on just the texting.
Sure.
So whenever I get them on the phone, I go through the process, the script. I use it from the Strong Point website and basically just schedule it and do my tie downs slow, keep my pace, make sure it registers, and also making sure they write it down.
And if you're doing it through text, you're having a good amount show up through
Oh,
text?
yeah.
Really? Okay.
Through text,
Same
yeah.
thing, you're just kind of giving them a time slot, and they pick, and then
Yep.
you're just like, what does it sound like? What does you know what your text is like after you kind of like book
Yeah.
it initially?
Yeah. When I say, hey, do mornings or evenings work best for you?
Okay.
So whenever they say evenings, I give them the option like, hey, I have a 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, or 6:30. Which slot do you want?
Gotcha. Okay.
They say, oh, 6:30 tomorrow, perfect. And I do make sure I put, hey, we will need your spouse if there is one. Make sure they are available as well.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nice. And so kind of going, sorry, I kind of cut you off a little bit there, but I kind of go through your process when you kind of get them
On the
like
phone?
there for the appointment. Yeah.
Oh, on the okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
good.
So basically, I just go over the script that Strong Point has on their website. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of agents try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
I've always, wanted to reach out to other agents that are killing it instead of me trying to figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of agents have that issue of wanting to do, their own thing. But
Yep.
like, hey, if someone else is killing it, just copy and paste.
100%.
That's all you have to do. So for me was, hey, hey, Mike, this is Angel, just giving you a call regarding the mortgage protection that you sent in, listing your spouse as a beneficiary. This is just the type of coverage that if something were to happen to you, it'll pay off for your beneficiary, which is your wife. That's what you were looking for, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So my job is super simple, just to go over the process, look at your different options. But hey, Mike, is this your first time ever going through mortgage protection?
Yeah, it's my first time, first house.
Okay, gotcha. So you've never had any agent give you a call. You guys never had an appointment.
No.
Okay, gotcha. So this is obviously really new to you and your spouse. So my job is just to provide the information, look at your different options. That way we can see if this is even a good fit for you.
Okay.
Now, just so you know, Mike, since these are state regulated, they base them off your health and your age. So my job is just to figure out, what we could get you approved for. Once we figure that out, we'll go ahead and submit an application for coverage. And then by then, it takes about 2 to 3 business days to see if you got approved or not. Okay. Now, just so you know, Mike, and this is gold, bro, because a lot of these clients are about 50, 60 to 70 years of age.
Exactly.
And a lot of them see the ad and they see that it comes with living benefits, right? We're going to try as much as we can to get them the best amount of coverage also with those living benefits. But if they don't qualify, because one is expensive and then two, their health, this is what I say. I'm like, hey, Mike, just so you know, there are 3 different ways for us to get mortgage protection in place. Number 1, it'll cover the whole loan.
Okay.
Number 2, it'll cover half of the loan. And number 3, it'll cover a certain amount of months to pay down on the loan.
Love it.
Okay. And I'll be honest with you, Mike. Let's say you're 65 years of age, okay? I'll be honest with you, Mike. The first 2 options wouldn't make sense. And this is after I figure out like the whole financial inventory sheet. I go over their budget. I see, what they can get approved for and what they cannot. I tell them, hey, Mike, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think option 1 and option 2 would make sense. And here's why. Because both of them are term products. You wouldn't want to get something that will terminate. And number 2, it'll be really expensive for you. So a lot of people around your age group always go with option 3.
Okay.
So that's the way I position it, because they, again, they see the ad. All they want is like, hey, Angel, it's either the whole loan or nothing.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that they're knowledgeable to what is available for them.
Love it. Okay. So you're kind of directing their thinking, right?
Yeah.
Because we know someone who's in their 70s,
Yeah.
we're not covering the full mortgage. It's
Yeah.
going to be another mortgage payment.
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to get them to early on understand and kind of like help their thinking
Mm-hmm.
to direct them.
Yeah,
Love it.
for sure.
Okay.
For sure. And then obviously there isn't an urgency. Like second chance, where we tell them, hey, we either have to apply for or decline the coverage.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? It doesn't really matter to me what you pick, as long as we get a yes or a no. With these kind of leads, you can't say that in a sense. So what I say is, again, just use a script. I tell them, hey, Mike, just based on your needs, your wants, and your budget, I just put together a few options for you, and hopefully one of them makes a lot of sense for your situation. But before we get into those options, I need a little bit more information about you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask you a few health questions, see what we can get you approved for. But my goals are super simple, Mike. Number 1, I want to show you something that you qualify for. Number 2, I want to show you something that you could afford, because here's the thing, Mike, we don't want to be insurance rich but cash poor. And then number 3, I want to show you something that you completely understand. Now, what I found, Mike, is all of my clients always feel comfortable submitting a request for coverage once we could accomplish those 3 things. Does that sound someone like you?
Yeah, I think so.
So that was basically my apply for or decline.
Sure. Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
That's good. Anything that you feel like that helped you maybe like along the way that maybe you switched up to try to help you close more?
100%. So number 1, reaching out, watching videos. And there's, for example, Malik, he was talking about you have to be a good listener.
Yeah.
And build rapport, right? That definitely is gold,
Okay.
right? Especially with these kind of leads. So once they, tell you about their health or something like that, like, oh, when was that? Oh, it happened, 2 years ago. Okay, was anyone there to help you out? Like, let's say they had a heart attack or something like that. So build a little bit more rapport. And then number 2, and this is also from Marco, is asking questions.
Yeah.
You have to ask questions to where it directs them to close the sale. So, so asking questions, be a good listener, and not only that, but don't try to twist their arm as much when it comes down to them getting either coverage or the options. Like, they submit a request just to figure out how much it'll cost,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So your job is just to direct them to where, hey, it does make sense, and your job is to paint the picture and just explain to them, like, hey, this doesn't look good if something were to happen to you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's why you submitted the request, right, John or Mary? Yes. Okay, gotcha. And just go right into it.
Love it. I love how you're like picking stuff up from all the different
100%.
people that are crushing it, right? Because like that's again, like you said earlier on, that's this business, right? Like even like with Marco, right? When he's asking the questions, just the tone, it's a concerned tone, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a new agent working these leads, like tone is a big thing. Like your tone over the phone. You're not generally you do yours over Zoom, right? Which I think is
that's another thing.
Yeah, we'll touch on that in a second. But even if you're doing them over the phone, like your tone is everything. Your tone can show empathy, right, or concern, or like, and that's really important when you're dealing with these clients.
Yeah, 100%.
So it shows that you care, and it shows that again, like you're trying to do the best thing for them. And if you have that along the way and ask the right questions, more often than not, you're making the sale.
Yep. You definitely have to be comfortable when you're on the phone. If you make it sound weird, then it'll come out weird.
Yeah.
And it does take time and practice, right? What really helped me was to record myself and just like listen to how I sound, going over my script, going over the in-home script. And, whenever I hear something that doesn't sound as right, or like I wouldn't be comfortable if someone would have told me that, I fix it right away.
Yeah, and you've been writing some bigger premiums as of late too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Any switches you made that you think have gotten that?
So one thing that a lot of these clients like to hear is that life insurance is also included within the policy. So typically what I do is like, hey, just so you know, we can go ahead and add, your life insurance through the mortgage protection. So we'll pay off a certain amount of months towards the loan and also take care of your final expenses for about $10,000-15,000.
Love it.
So adding more coverage and just going through one carrier, it's better for the client.
Yeah.
Instead of calling, 3 different carriers, 3 different life insurance policies
Yeah.
they have in
To
place,
make a claim.
all they have to do
Yeah.
is one. So that's one thing that I really, like to throw out there.
Yeah.
Because they like it. They hear that and they're like, oh, I didn't know we can do that. I'm like, yeah, 100%. Let's go ahead and just add it. And this is just the difference. An extra like $50, an extra $60. And they're okay with that.
Yeah. Love it. So you're doing them over Zoom now.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing them over phone. What made you kind of switch to Zoom?
Yeah. So Zoom just recently started, probably like 2 months now in doing Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a month and a half. And for me, it was just that there was no urgency. So I needed to figure out exactly what was it that I can do to make it more of an emotional sale.
Sure.
Again, they're just submitting a request to get, quotes, get options. So for me, it was, hey, how can I make this more that they understand how it'll look like if something were to happen?
Okay.
So when I did in-home, I liked it because I can see like the body language when I would talk to them, see if they're paying attention or not. So I started doing Zoom because when I asked them like those deep questions and uncomfortable questions, I saw the way they reacted. Like if it looks like they didn't really care, then I was like, okay, well, I wouldn't want to put it in place because they're gonna cancel it later down the road.
Sure.
So whenever I ask like, hey, we're at Zoom and I'm looking at both of them, I make sure I do have both of them there. I'm like, hey, okay, so John and Mary, if something were to happen, we want to make sure that the house is taken care of for, correct? And they both reply, yes. Okay. Now, Mary, since John is the main breadwinner, how would that look like for you if he can't go to work tomorrow? And John tries to interrupt, like, whoa, she can like, no, John, hold on. Mary, how are you going to take care of the situation if you can't go to work?
Yeah.
It does get uncomfortable, trust me,
Sure.
it does.
Yeah.
But you have to pull out the emotion. And trust me, once you get that emotion out, once you paint the picture for them, it's really typical to get a charge back because they know it's important and
Yeah.
they know that they need it.
Love it. Yeah, this has all been really good. Anything else that you think that would be helpful for an agent when working these leads?
Yeah, for sure, man. Don't give up. It is something. It's a new lead.
Sure.
It's a new way to talk to people. Typically when we do second chance mortgage leads, they tell us not to sound as salesy, right?
Yeah.
Not to make it sound nice.
Yeah.
With Strong Point, with these people, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would agree with that, but you have to, again, build a little bit more rapport than what you do with second
100%.
chance.
Yeah.
You have to take your time in asking questions and actually figure out what is best for them.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here to do. We just want to make sure that the client is taken care of and we put them in a good position.
Awesome. Love it, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping on today.
100%.
It was I think everyone learned a lot.
Yep.
And guys, as you guys go through and listen to these podcasts, take notes. Like, keep taking notes, keep getting better at your craft, and keep crushing. We'll see you on the leaderboards.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.